Recording is on.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Coffey. I'm the Grants and Research Coordinator for Arts Culture Catawba. Joining me this morning, we have our Executive Director for Arts Culture Catawba, Ingrid Keller. I see we also have some of the other Regional Arts Council directors on here. We have Deb Jones from the Burke Arts Council and John Koppelmeyer from Iredale Arts Council. I think that's it. I don't think I see any other ones, but okay. So this is the second session of our fall grant workshop today. We're going to be talking about the Artist Support Grant. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we've got a presentation for you today. Okay, so let's talk about the Artist Support Grant. There we go. Okay, the Artist Support Grant provides direct support to individual artists for professional and artistic development, either to enhance their skills and abilities to create work or to improve their business operations and capacity to bring the work to audiences. The Artist Support Grant is intended to support a broad range of talented visual, performing, literary, and interdisciplinary artists. So it covers a big range of artistic disciplines. There are 18 regions for the Artist Support Grant. This is a state grant from the NC Arts Council. It's administered regionally. You can see there the different regions. We're Region 14. And so any of the, if you live in any of these counties, then you're in the right place right now on this workshop. And you will work with, the way it works is you're going to work with you're going to reach out to your individual arts councils in each county to start your process, and you'll talk with them about your project. They'll share the link with you, and you'll go onto the website to complete your online application. Now, in Catawba County, we're the lead arts council for this region, so the applications are going to be processed through our office over here. But all of the arts councils are contributing to this to the process for this. Okay, so eligibility for the application. It is for emerging and established artists. So they may either be an emerging or established artist. Applicants should demonstrate a commitment to spending a significant portion of their time on their work as artists. Individuals and groups. So both individuals and small unincorporated, keyword there, unincorporated groups of collaborating artists are eligible to apply. If you are on a group that's applying, then all members must be North Carolina residents and live in the region that they're applying in, along with the other eligibility requirements. So artists should have lived in the region where they're applying continuously for at least 1 year prior to the application deadline. An applicant must be at least 18 years old and either a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident. Proof of residence and status may be required. Artists who live in more than one region should apply where they spend the majority of the year. So this is really based more on, this application is based more on residency than anything else, than where you work. So I mean, it depends on where you live at, like where your actual home address is. Okay, so let's talk about those who are not eligible. If you are receiving another award from the NC Arts Council, that may be a conflict of interest, especially if you're a sole proprietor of an organization that's getting some kind of organizational grant from them for the 24-25 fiscal year. A current board and staff member of one of the partner organizations are not eligible to apply. And also students are not eligible either. So that includes undergraduate or associate degree programs. If you're a full-time student, then you're not eligible for this either. So evaluation criteria, talking about how the applications will be evaluated by our panelists. It will be based on artistic merit, demonstrated talent in an art form, and overall excellence of your work, and your clear commitment to a career as a practicing professional artist. So we'll get into the application process in a minute here, but basically the work samples that you provide are going to be a big component of your application. So you'll want to provide very high quality examples showing the best work that you do. And in terms of your clear commitment to a career, you'll also attach an artist statement that's a written, like a short written essay about you as an artist. And you'll also attach an artist resume. So those will show, those will be evaluated in this section. The other thing that the applications are evaluated on is project merit. So the benefit of the proposed project to the artist's professional growth and the feasibility of the project. So you'll write a project narrative in your application, and these are the two things that'll be evaluated here: is how it's helping you grow in your professional artistic career, and the feasibility, or just how realistic your project is, if it's something that you're going to be able to actually do within reason. Okay. So let's look at the scope of funding. These are things that you can ask for the grant: the completion or presentation of a new work, including the cost of resources necessary to complete or present a new work, such as art supplies, equipment, or space rental. Career promotion, so for advertising, such as websites, portfolios, etc. Training expenses. If you were to take some kind of class or workshop, you could request a grant for that to pay for the workshop for some kind of professional development. Travel, at a cost, like let's say you're going to travel somewhere for a conference that you're attending to learn some new skill. You could use grant funds to pay for your transportation, your lodging, even your food for that trip. And artist fees. So actually up to 50% of your grant may be used towards artist fees, which just means paying yourself. So you could technically apply and just, let's say it's the completion of a new work, you can pay for your own time there and pay yourself with that grant. So these are things that the grant will not fund: scholarships for undergraduate or graduate programs, basically anything political, anything religious, or projects that are exclusive to members of a religious faith group, nonprofit initiatives, because we have a lot of other nonprofit organization grants that we do already, so nothing to do with any of the nonprofit initiatives, and projects that do not have a direct effect on the applicant's growth as an artist, such as the promotion of other artists' work. Okay, so now we're going to go through the application itself. So you'll have to write a project narrative that explains your project and how it will have an impact on your career as an artist. And you'll also include an artist statement. So in this project narrative, you will describe your project and the proposed use of funds. You'll explain what this project will enable you to do that you're unable to do now. And you will summarize how this project will advance your career or development as an artist. So again, project feasibility is part of how this is evaluated. So just make sure that the project's within reason and not beyond your capacity, like it says here, in terms of cost, access, other factors. And make sure that it is some kind of logical step for you, and you can demonstrate why it's a logical and needed step to get to the next place that you're going in your career. These are a couple tips that they gave here. Use simple declarative sentences, active voice, get to the point on this, observe the space or page limits, be efficient in your writing. And the narrative is not an artist statement. So during the project narrative, you'll really want to keep it focused on what you're applying for, like what the grant funds are being used for. You're not going to talk about yourself so much in this section because there's a whole different section where you'll write an artist statement. So just keep it very simple and direct and focused on the project. I even usually advise people, let me flip back. So whenever you're writing the narrative, these are the 3 questions that you'll have to answer. I usually just to write it in order and maybe even repeat back these things. You could say like, my project is blah, 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 blah. I'm using the funds for blah, blah, blah. This project will enable me to do this because I'm unable to do this right now without it. And this project will advance my career by, so, you could even do that as 3 paragraphs and just make sure that you're getting every single thing that they're asking for. Okay. So now let's take a look at the budget. So first you'll provide your project expenses. This is specifically for the project you're applying for here. And you can see here, you'll just put a description of what the expense item is, and then the total amount that it costs. And over here you have grant and supplemental funds. So you'll explain there what specific things are being funded by the grant and what things may be funded by another source of income. Like it could just be out-of-pocket cost. Let's see, I'm jumping ahead here. I think the next slide says, well, we'll get into that in a second. But for example, if the project can be completely funded by the grant, so you don't have to put anything in supplemental. But if your project costs more than what you're requesting, then you would put the other costs here, if that makes sense. I can explain that again in the questions later on, but let's go ahead and move on for now. Okay, so provide as much detail as possible. You can see here they broke down travel into more specific costs there. More detail is better in your budget, just to make it look like you have more of a plan and you've really thought things through. You can also provide supporting documentation for your budget. Let's say you're doing a workshop and that workshop already has all the information and the registration fees posted on their website. You could take a screenshot of that and put that as an attachment to support your application, and that would make a stronger application. Or let's say you're purchasing equipment or supplies for an art project. You could go ahead and get the exact costs off of Amazon or wherever you're ordering from, and again, take a screenshot of that and just post that as supplemental documentation. Okay, so now we're on the income side. Again, you'll just put the, let's see. Yeah, you'll just put the source of income here. And again, if it's just the grant, like if your project's completely being funded by the grant, then that's all you need to put there is just the artist support grant and then the grant amount. So, okay, here it is. Here's the slide I was looking for earlier. So you're not required to spend your own money. This project can be completely funded by the grant. But if it is a bigger project that goes beyond the maximum amount of that you can request from the grant, you could also include your own like applicant cash, or if you had another source of income like another sponsor, or if you had another grant that was also going towards this project, then you can include that in your income sources as well. Okay. Yeah, okay, that's what it says there. If you're pursuing or secure donations from others, include that information as well. And then leave enough room on the expected income side to make it clear that you do not need the grant, that you do need the grant. Excuse me. Okay, so now let's get into work samples. This section will be really important because, as I mentioned, artistic merit is a big thing, a big component that's evaluated from your applications, and your work samples is really the main place that's going to demonstrate your artistic merit. So you'll include an inventory list that accompanies the work samples. The work samples should be recent, 3 years or less. And let's see. Yeah, in the next couple of slides, it's going to talk about each artistic discipline and what the requirements are going to be. So for visual art and craft, you can post up to 15 images of your work, make sure they're high quality, and you'll provide an inventory list with the title, the date of completion, the medium, and the dimensions of the work. I will share these slides, and this presentation is going to go on YouTube later, so you can always refer back to these later. So for music work samples, it'll be up to 3 recorded performances, audio or video, but it cannot exceed a total time of 10 minutes. And For this one, your inventory list will include the date and location of the performance, the title of the piece, the name of the conductor, lead performers, musicians, and a short summary may also be included. If you're a composer or a songwriter, you should also submit scores, lyrics, and lead sheets as appropriate. Okay, for film, documentation of one or more completed films, clips not to exceed 5 minutes, and in your inventory list include the date of the work sample, the title, names and roles of key people, a short summary may also be included. So for dance and performing arts, documentation of up to 3 recorded performances, videos may not exceed a total time of 10 minutes, and your inventory sheet will include the date and location, the title, names of key people, and a short summary. For writing, fiction, creative nonfiction, and playwrights may submit no more than 12 pages each of 1 to 2 manuscripts. Poets may submit 5 to 7 poems. Playwrights may also submit documentation of a recorded performance or a staged reading. And then the inventory list should include the title of the piece and when it was published. Okay. Before we go on to the next section, I do want to show you guys, that's one of the things I get most commonly. One of the questions I get the most is about the work samples and specifically the inventory list. Let me see if I still have it up somewhere. Yes, okay. So I actually, before I worked here, I actually applied for this grant like 3 or 4 years ago. So this was my application. I just wanted to show you guys what this looks like. I'm a musician, so I uploaded 3 pieces of music here, and you see I just had the title of the music, and I uploaded the actual files onto the online application. And this is what I mean when I say an inventory list. It's almost like a bibliography. They don't have a template for it, so you would just write it in a Microsoft Word document, basically, and it could look something like this. This was mine. I had my own little header up here with my info, and I just included the things that they asked me for. So it's just it's an accompanying document that goes with the items that you're uploading, just so that the people reviewing the application know in order exactly what they're seeing. That's the place where you explain what you're uploading. So if that makes sense. Okay, so let's jump back into the presentation here. Okay, so next up, resumes or bios. So you'll have to post an artist resume focusing on your activities as an artist, including exhibitions, performances, readings, screenings, commissions, collections, etc. Pretty much anything pertaining to your artistic career. You can also, if there are things that are kind of tangential, you can also include that. You know, if if you're an artist and you have another job, but your day job is like something related in some kind of way, like, you know, again, going back to me, you know, I'm a musician. I used to work for the Western Piedmont Symphony. That was my last job. So I included that information because I worked around a lot of musicians and I worked with musicians for backstage. So it just, you know, it kind of added to my resume. So I included that. So it says the suggested length is 2 to 4 pages. If you have limited experience as an artist, like I did, foreground your existing artistic achievements in your resume and condense your other work and experience into broad background information. Use this situation to make the case that the grant is especially important towards taking a meaningful step in your artistic career. Okay, so letters of recommendation are optional, but there is a place where in the application where you can upload those. So if you have anyone that you may want to ask for a letter of recommendation, that could strengthen your application. Okay, so this is the checklist here of just everything that you need to submit for this application. Your application profile, that's what you set up in the beginning when you whenever you create your account, you'll put your name, your artist name, your email, your phone number, your address, all that kind of stuff. So there's the narrative that we talked about with those 3 questions. That's talking about your project specifically. You'll upload an artist resume. Then budget support documents like prices, quotes on services, support materials. That could be anything else you want to upload that might just help support your project. Like if you have a review that someone did of your work, or if you have a program from a past event that you did or something that you were a part of, you could upload things like that. And then your work samples and the inventory list that goes with those work samples. Okay, so if you receive a grant, you'll enter into a contractual agreement with Arts Culture Catawba. Like I said, we'll process it all through our office here. So no matter where you're at in the region, it'll come through our office with the contracts and the checks and everything. So promotional and marketing materials must use the NC Arts Council logo and credit line. That's important. You know, if you're, we do want to give credit back up to the State Arts Council, the grant program that's funding this. So you'll need to make sure if you have any printed materials or in any of your social media or advertising for your project, you'll want to include the NC Arts Council and give credit to them and include their logo if you have any printed materials. So just real quick, I'll explain this distinction here. The project period for this is going to be at the calendar year of 2025. So January through December 2025 is when the projects will have to take place. We do need all of the funds requested by June 15th, 2025. The reason for that is although this project period is a calendar year, you know, we operate on a fiscal year and we need to give all of our funds out before our fiscal year ends on June 30. So basically you'll want to request your funds before June 30 so that that we can give all the funds out. And if your project's taking place later in the year, then you'll just want to hold on to that until you need it. But we need it requested by June 30, if that makes sense. Okay, so that pretty much takes us to the end there. That's my contact information. You can email me with questions at grants@artscatawba.org. And my phone number is down here as well, 324-4906. I'm extension 306. So yeah, let me go ahead and break out of this screen sharing. And if anyone has any questions, I will take those now. Let's see. Deanna, yes, I see your hand is raised. Deanna Steiner. Is everyone automatically muted? Do I have to unmute you guys? I'm sorry.
She should be able to unmute herself, but let me see if I can only ask her to unmute.
Okay.
She's got the question in the chat, Chris.
Oh yeah, okay. I did want to explain I feel like I didn't explain the budget part very well. No, that's okay. I got you. So she's asking about the income side of the application, and if that's where she's supposed to put the money that she's making from the project. And let me explain that again. So income is just explaining how you're covering your costs. So let's say your project costs $5,000 total because you're spending on supplies and marketing and all that. So you have the expense side that this project's going to cost $5,000. So now in income, you're going to explain how you're covering those costs. So it could be, you'll say $3,000 of that is covered by the grant, and the other $2,000 is going to be out of pocket. That would be an example. Or if your project's less than $3,000, it could just be covered entirely by the grant. Like let's say your project's $2,000. So then you'll just put artist support grant $2,000, and that's all you have to put for income. Okay, and then I got another question here. It says, how do we get? Yeah, I should explain that too. So how do you get your application form? So you're each going to reach out to your Arts Council director in your county. So if you're in Catawba County, you're going to reach out to me actually as the grants coordinator. In Burke County, you'll want to reach out to Deborah Jones at the Burke Arts Council, and you'll want to meet with them first. So we ask people we ask the artists meet or have some kind of discussion or meeting with their local Arts Council director before they begin their application. So once you've met with someone at one of the Arts Councils, they will give you the link to the application. and then they'll give you the link. It's an online portal on the NC Arts Council's website. It's actually hosted by them, but we'll share the links with you guys once you've met with us. So you'll just want to reach out to whoever your regional arts director is and set up an appointment with them. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? All right. I think that oh wait, someone just sent one. What if you live in one county but are opening a studio in another? It's my understanding this grant is really based on where you live. So wherever your home residence is the county that you'll want to apply from. And again, all the counties in the state are participating in this program. So even if you're outside of our region, you'll just reach out to whatever arts council's in your county, basically, and they can probably help you with your process. Okay. Any other questions?
Hey, Chris. Yes, I have one question. So in terms of touching base with you before the application is, when we have that meeting, is it possible to meet virtually, or would you rather have us come to you at the office?
Yeah, I'm fine with virtual meetings. Yeah,
Okay.
totally fine. Just shoot me an email and we'll set it up and
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, I got another question here. Can the project be to launch an art workshop sort of business in the community, or does it need to be a single project like a book? Let's see. Launch an art workshop business. I would say, yeah, it could be used for that. Absolutely. Yeah, like as the starter money to start some sort of, anything that's helping in your artistic career. I think they keep it very broad on purpose. So I would say, yes. Okay. And whenever you meet with your arts council representative, whether that's me or one of the others, they can maybe help you find out exactly what the actual costs are going to be for like what you're spending the grant funds on, and if that's going to be applicable for the project. So, okay, I got a couple more questions here. If our application is accepted, when is the soonest we can have those funds? Apply for funds for a workshop in January. Okay. Typically, I think we give out the funds in January, like right on January 1st. So maybe just keep on us a little bit about it, I would say. And if you send me some reminder, like if you were to get this grant, maybe just shoot me an email and be like, hey, Chris, remember my workshop is right in January. I really need those funds right away. And I could work with you to even like come by the office and pick it up so you don't have to wait on it in the mail.
So you'll have to submit your receipts and you'll have to turn in a cash request. You can do that as soon as you have signed a contract. You'll get the contracts in December. But you will have to submit some paperwork for us to be able to cut you a check first. And we can try. I mean, we won't cut it on January 1st because that's a holiday, but we would cut it within that first week of January.
Yep. Okay. Then the next question is, how many people typically are awarded the grant? Is it one or multiple? So I'll tell you, last year we had 38 people apply, and we gave grants to I believe 12 or 13 people. It depends on the amount of money we get from the state. They give us a set amount each year. And we, with the max grant being $3,000 that each of you can apply for, we try to divvy it up. Whenever you guys submit your applications, like I said, they're going to be evaluated by a panel. I should talk a bit about that. So we'll have a panel day. You guys won't have to be here for that, but we're going to assemble a lot of local artists in everyone's disciplines, depending on what applications we get. So we'll have musicians, we'll have painters, we'll have dancers, and they'll be evaluating your applications based on artistic merit and project merit, and they'll be scoring them. And we look at the aggregate scores at the end, and that then we try to decide how we can divide the money up for the top applications, the top scoring applications, regardless of discipline or where you live. But like I said, last year we gave out 12, I think it was 12. So, and some of them may be partially awarded too, just to make it fit to where we can, because we have a set amount of money to get out, and so we try to help out the top applications. Okay, let's see, next one down. She said she joined late and has no sound, but I'm gonna type this response as I'm talking. Hey Mandy, we are posting this on YouTube next week, so you can watch back later. Okay, and then next one down, is it better for a project to be focused on personal artistic growth, or can it be more art business related? I would say that generally, I mean, it could go to either one, I suppose, but I would lean more towards personal artistic growth. I think this is a very personal type of grant. We do another one in the spring called the Innovative Artist Grant. That's our other big artist grant program. That one is more project based on a specific project you're working on in the community. This grant is very much intended to be for your for each individual's artistic growth. And that could be for your artistic career, or that could just be in your own artistic journey outside of a career. So really it's up to you. I think if you have ideas for specific projects for those two things, that's something you can discuss with your Arts Council representative, and maybe they can help you figure out which one is going to be the better fit. Okay, and Deanna asked if there's a limit to the amount of funds we can request, and yes, I'm sorry, I guess the slides didn't cover that. It's $500 to $3,000, so that's the range. So it's a maximum of $3,000. Okay, does anyone else have any questions for me? All right, if not, let's see, I'm gonna throw this back on the screen here. You can reach out to me for any questions at all. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out. Again, the first step to starting your application is going to be reaching out to your Arts Council representative. I should actually, hold on, I got them all. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't have this part planned, but I know it's on our website. Oh, actually, this will probably be good to look at anyway. Here you go. So this is our website. You go down to grants and scholarships, individuals, art support grants. So that tells you applications open September 1st. They're due on September 30th. I don't think I even mentioned that. So the applications are due on September 30th. And right here you can see everyone's contact information for each of the regional counties. So you'll reach out to wherever your home residence is, reach out to the person in your county to start your process. Leave that up for a second here, but all right, well, thank you guys all for attending. And with that, I guess we will conclude.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Thanks, y'all.